What's happening, YouTube? High definition television. Back again. After a long hiatus. Or so it seems. I don't know how long it's been since the last video. And I'm sure you're all worn out from hearing me start videos with, I don't know how long it's been. This is my last video. I mean, I don't. A few weeks, at least. I got shit going on, man. Stuff in the works. Happenings. Yeah. Long story short. I got a job. Fucking training people. It's wild. Career changes at 47. Kind of bananas. That said, I've been treating myself a little bit because I've been super stoked. Just about stuff and junk. Life in general. I hate to be like Mr. Ball of Positivity. Because I've had my own anxieties and my own discouragements and my own stressors over the last 7 months at this point. And they're still ongoing. But more than that, I'm stoked. So I've been treating myself. To records, I have some videos in mind that I want to do for like the end of the year, but I don't have everything in hand that I want to talk about. So we're just kind of filling gaps at this point. This is pickups. And these have been pickups since like, I don't know, March, April. These aren't all brand new, folks. And I've had a lot of these on some format, or some of these are upgrades. For this one, for instance, upgrade. Candlemass, Epicus, Dumicus, Metallicus, the first LP from Candlemass on Black Dragon Records. I don't really know what I could say about Candlemass that hasn't already been said by a fucking zillion YouTubers out in the YouTuberverse. This record is brilliant. Epic doom metal, as the title suggests. Flawless. It's a 10 out of 10. I had a Peaceville reissue of this for years and years and years and years. And this actually popped up in a bargain bin, of all places. Would you believe me if I told you I paid less than $20 US for this fucking original copy on Black Dragon Records? Label owned, I believe at the time, by David T. Chastain. It would go on to become Leviathan Records, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it's doom metal. It's epic doom metal, and it fucking rules. Probably some of the best you'll ever hear. Solitude, Demon's Gate, Crystal Ball, Black Stone Wielder especially. Fuck, that shit is heavy. Oh my god. Like I said, it's a 10 out of 10 record. Iconic for a reason. Banger all around. Love it. This was another local find. Not a bargain bin find, but found it locally. Had to grab it. I've had a reissue, Metal Blade reissue for like a fucking long time. But OG Press happened to fall into my lap. King Diamond Conspiracy. Aside from Fatal Portrait, this is probably my favorite solo King Diamond material on Roadrunner. And came with the fucking sick ass inner sleeve with the lyrics. This shit rules, man. I'm not a huge... I love Merciful Fate. Okay, don't get me wrong. But like as far as the King Diamond solo stuff goes, like I kind of fall off, honestly, after, what is it that came after the Spider's Lullaby or fucking whatever the fuck. This is like the last King Diamond record that I really care about. And it's my favorite, like I said. I like it better than Abigail. Fatal Portrait's pretty close, but Fatal Portrait's more of a Merciful Fate record than a King Diamond record. Way better than them, in my opinion. Even though this is a sequel to them. I love this record, man. It's so good. Just awesome heavy metal, borders on like biker rock, which is one of the things I really love about like Melissa and Don't Break the Oath, is that it has a huge like bike. Both those records have huge biker rock vibes. So does this record. Kind of where like Abigail and them does not. This record rocks harder. It's just killer. It's goofy. It's King Diamond. I mean, topically, you know what you're about to get into with this. Especially if you're familiar with them. This is a direct sequel. It starts off right where them ends, as far as topical content goes. But it's another banger, another 10 out of 10, easy. Well, I would hesitate to say, but I wouldn't hesitate too much to say that everything we're about to see here is what I would call a 10 out of 10 fucking record. This is no exception. Sabot, fetishism. Sabot out of Japan, of course. A lot of people always lump these guys up against like Abigail, because Abigail is also from Japan, and Abigail also plays like black thrash metal, much like Sabot. This is an Iron Tyrant pressing of Fetishism, so it's a double LP. This would be the second LP right here. It's like a bunch of B-sides, singles, and whatnots. Really, the drawing factor, though, is Fetishism. Probably my favorite of the Sabot full lengths, and this is not so easy to come by these days. I stumbled across this in one of my favorite locals. Had to grab it. I'm pretty sure the vinyl's on like black, so it's like nothing special. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you that. But as far as what you're getting into with Sabot, don't think the UK Sabot. They're not even remotely similar. Sabot Japan, more of like a speed metal, blackened speed metal assault, a la the first 3 Bathory records. Think Morbid Tales or Emperor's Return. Think fucking NME out of the United States, Washington, Seattle to be specific. Just killer, relentless, thrashing black metal. R Noir is a good reference, even though they would be influenced by Sabot, because Sabot is older than R Noir. This shit rules. And Venom is another great Sabot record, worth picking up for sure. But this is, like I said, probably pound for pound my favorite. Killer, absolutely killer. This was a fucking awesome find. Again, another local find. Walked into a local shop. I want to say it was like Black Friday. Just put out like an Instagram drop. This was not shown on the drop. And it is let's say it's like a 2003, 2004 pressing from Black Mark Records of Edge of Sanity, orthodox Swedish death metal, a little progressive, but this is before Edge of Sanity got super weird, super out there. Like I said, their first full length, it's killer. It doesn't, when I say it's Swedish death metal, you might want to lump it in with like your Entombs, or your Dismembers, or your fucking Graves. This doesn't really belong in that camp. I put this more in the lines of like Uncanny, or God Macabre. Maybe, I'm drawing a blank. But those are good reference points for this record. Stellar death metal record from, I'd say originally like 92 maybe? I can't read in this light. And it doesn't say on there, but it does, it's got the printed inner from Black Mark. The full Edge of Sanity discography detailed on the inner from Black Mark as well. It's just killer. It's stellar. It's not quite as good as the Spectral Sorrows. Probably my favorite Edge of Sanity, but fuck, man. This album is just, it's rad. Really happy to find it. And it was cheap too. Like, I'm not going to tell you how cheap it was because I almost feel guilty about how little I paid for this record. It's got some fucking cosmetic damage, but I don't care. It's the music that matters. Stellar. Oh man. And this is a fucking gem right here. I picked this up back in like July, maybe June. This band's got a lot in their discography, like a lot. It's hard to know really like where to start, but if you're wondering, this is probably a prime starting point for said band. It's Polish thrash, turbo. This is a record that got a couple different versions actually. This is a Noise International pressing, The Last Warrior. It's funny too, that cover artwork I'm more familiar with because it is the cover to one of the chapters of Gene Wolfe's Dawn of the New Sun, I believe, or Shadow the Torturer series. I believe Shadow the Torturer series. I can't remember which book, like the second or third book. That's the cover. Stolen by Turbo out of Poland. Look at these fucking Euro trash rockers. Oh my god. Stellar. Just awesome Polish thrash. Like, what's a good point of reference? Polish thrash it's not quite as accessible as like the German stuff or what was coming out of even like Italy or Greece or even the UK. And the UK was a little disparate when it came to thrash metal in terms of like matching up with what Germany was putting out, or Denmark, Holland. This record is just stellar. It has a few callbacks to like some of the stuff that was coming out of America at the time, but it's very Euro sounding. And this is, so I said this is one of a couple different versions of this record. There's a different version of this with a fully different album cover with a Polish name, and I can't think of the name. And I don't edit my fucking shit anymore, so don't expect me to insert anywhere in this video what I'm talking about. Just look up fucking Turbo on Discogs or fucking Metal Archives. It's not difficult. Do your own work, people. This is just stellar. If you like the first couple Root records, or like Cat, say the first full-length Cat record, or the first two Cat full-lengths, say Tormentor out of Hungary, you'll get a good vibe for what you're going to hear on this record. It's just killer. It rules. It's Noise. Came on a sick Noise printed inner with that catalog, which is just awesome to look at. I have a lot of these. I'm not going to go over all of them. And then as far as the record goes, you know, it's the 80s, so it's your standard black, red Noise labels. Just awesome. The fact that, the fact that I fucking managed to score this, just killer. So happy. But yeah, Turbo. Underrated, in my opinion. They're one of those bands like trans metal out of Mexico. I don't want to say they sound like trans metal out of Mexico, because they don't. Trans metal is also super underrated, with a huge fucking discography, much like Turbo. Next record. This was a grail. I did not find this locally. I bought this on the internet. And I don't feel bad about it. I didn't spend too much money on it. I'm not going to tell you how much money I spent on it. Might be more than you think. Might be less. I don't know. But we're talking about, from France, Aggressor, Never Ending Destiny. I just, look at that. Look at that. Stellar cover art. Another Noise International LP. There's a back. This is actually a test press. White labels. And man, I don't collect test presses to start. Test presses are generally too much money for something that doesn't really offer much more than like the standard release. But in this case, this record's fucking special. Let me tell you, Aggressor. I mean, almost genre defining. Excuse me, as far as French death metal goes. French thrash, death thrash, up there with like Massacre, or fucking Loud Blast. In fact, probably I think the first effort from Aggressor is a split with Loud Blast. Loud Blast veering a little bit more towards death metal than Aggressor. This is firmly death thrash material, and it fucking smokes. It's so brutal. It's so savage. It's so vicious and just unrelenting. Puts to shame your demolition hammers or your fucking numbskulls. This stuff is just the real fucking deal right here, and it kills. This band had no bad records, at least up until like the third or the fourth LP. This is just awesome material. If you get like kind of like Voivod vibes, like a little bit more raw, a bit more unrelenting, a bit more focused, a bit more polished than Voivod, but the comparison is it's still apt. It's just fucking rad. Having a test pressing of this is also rad. I tell you, it's bragging rights if I do say so myself. We got what, 2 more here to look at, to drool over. Fuck. This is a top 5 death metal record for me. Man, I'm so hyped that I have a fucking wax copy of this. I've had a CD copy of this for years and years and years and years. An original CD copy of this on Oz Records out of Mexico. We are, of course, talking about Shubneth, the King-like Celebration, aka Final Eon on Earth. First of all, look at that cover, man. Oh my god, I've coveted this vinyl release for fucking years. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did that video where I talk about grails, CDs that I would love vinyl copies of, and I'm pretty sure this was included in that list, and if it wasn't, it should have been. There's a band right there. These guys came from Mexico in the 90s. This is their first proper full-length album. They had EPs and demos prior to this. I have one of their EPs. It is another prized possession of mine. First, the vinyl treatment on this is just stellar, with the silver foil embossment for the fucking logo. Killer cover painting. And the band photo. Oh man. Came with a fucking sick poster. And then a flyer of more Mexican obscurities such as Cenotaph. Not so obscure these days. Not all Mexican either, because you got Beastcraft on here. They're Norwegian. They're Swedish. I don't know. One of the two. Anyway, this record smokes, man. It's so good. Describing how good this record is, it's a tall order. I don't know. A lot of people kind of lump this in as like Morbid Angel worship. And you'll definitely hear callbacks to Morbid Angel, much like you will in a band like, say, Pandemonium out of Poland, or fucking, that's probably the best one that comes to mind. There's more that I can't think of right now, because it's been a long day. This band's just not a ripoff, though, man. They're stellar on their own terms. They have their own identity, their own mysticism, their own ambience, their own atmosphere, and they own it, man. It's just killer. This is a brutal, evil record. Like the subversiveness of this album. This album sounds like these guys look, but like a little more refined. It's stellar. It's so good. If I were to make like a top 5 death metal list, this would be in there. No questions. I listen to this weekly, and I have for as long as I can call back at this point. Like, this is just, it's just so good. It's so good. And having a wax copy, like, icing on the cake, man. I got that because I did a purge right after moving into this new spot. I don't want to say right after moving in, because it took me a couple months to like go through everything to grab enough that was made for a worthwhile purge. When I say a purge, I mean, you know, about the approximate size of like a Kallax cube out of from IKEA. So I cleared out about 2 cubes worth in a purge, and with the funds acquired from said purge, that Shubneth was purchased, as well as this last record. Amen Corner with their EP, The Final Celebration. Fuck, man. Like, I know I pulled this away so you couldn't see it, because I just love looking at this cover art. Look. You think that Shubneth cover was stellar? Look at this shit. If ever there was an awesome portrayal of the Last Supper, and this is it. The details in this are just bonkers. I fucking love it so much. I almost dropped this shit. Oh man, that would have been bad. Amen Corner, I know I've talked about before in my Brazilian metal that was not Sepultura or Sarcophago. I showed the CD for their full length. And this was also included on that CD as like bonus tracks. It's just a 4-song EP. And man, this stuff is so good. It's like, I recently talked about that Behemoth record, who have a lot of callbacks to these guys, specifically their first full length and this EP. This EP, better than the LP, in my opinion. If you like your black metal slow and occult driven and mystic and cosmic, this is the type of shit you're gonna go bonkers for. It's a Cogumelo press. Not easy to come by, let me tell you. Again, I'm not gonna tell you how much this shit costs. It doesn't really matter ultimately. I've already gotten what I paid for it out of it in enjoyment. Between the imagery and the music, just slow, plodding, evil, mystical black metal. Out of Brazil from the early 90s. This shit's like 1994. Fuck, man. I can't rationally really speak to like just the feelings that this record emotes, the feelings that it gives me, the vibe that it instills. It's not easy listening, but if you like Blood Ritual, Worship Him by Samael, or you like Necromass out of Italy, or you like Mortuary Drape, or you like Mystifier, also South America, dashes of Impurity with the Lamb's Fury. That Behemoth record I talked about in the last video, this thing's gonna hit real close to home. Let me tell you, absolutely stellar. Can't recommend it enough. And another one, super happy to have in the collection. That's all I've got. I was gonna show some tapes, but I had enough wax to just kind of make it an all vinyl video. There will be more. I am gonna do a favorites of 2023 video, and probably a favorite reissues of 2023 video. It'll be a bit shorter than the favorites vid. That said, it's about to hit the 25-minute mark. I'm done. I got nothing else to say, folks. I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out. If you have any words for me, hit me up below. You know I'm going to respond. Always do. Make it a point. Keep it real. Be good to yourselves. Be safe. Don't be shitty. I'll talk to you later, YouTube. Peace out.